Welcome back to Marta's Planning Mess, and we're going to go over my daily carry, which is a Sterling Ink N2 vertical. So it is almost the same size as a Hobonichi Weeks. The covers are about the same size, but the pages are actually slightly bigger because they come flush to the edge, whereas you can see on this, there's just a little bit, putting my hand in the way, just a little bit of space there. So it is a slightly bigger page than a Hobonichi Weeks, but basically the same size. And this has a vertical layout, which is kind of a unicorn of a planner. There's not a lot of, Sterling Ink is the only one I know of that makes one in this size with that layout. And it is, it's tiny. I get it. Most people aren't going to like it, but for those of us that do, it's just like the coolest thing ever. So I received this at the beginning of December. It was, I ordered it like a week or two after I started the Hobonichi Weeks for my fitness and meal tracking planner. And so I had loved how slim this was and carrying it to the store. I had my grocery list inside of this and I'm like, I can use a fanny pack. This is awesome. I don't need a giant purse. And so it made me search this up and order it. So as soon as it got here, of course it was December, I wanted to start using it. And so I just literally figured out how to make the graph and the layout of the weekly spreads, printed them on stickers, put them in here, and started using it in December. So I've had several weeks of use in this, even though we're only in the second week of January and actually using the actual pages. So the color for this one, the only color you can get this in is the forest green, and you can get it with either a plain side or the gold foil. When I ordered this, I didn't even pay attention to the color, the foiling, any of that stuff. So I ended up getting the gold foil, which I don't hate it, but I don't think I would have picked that on purpose. But anyway, I have it and it's doing good. I've got it inside of a Weeks clear cover, and because it is just slightly bigger, you can see I'm getting a little bit of bending, and every so often I'll take a hairdryer to it and try and smooth it out. But it takes a little while to get used to being this big. The other thing I have here is I have one of these clear, I think they call them belt straps. You can see there's this little, it's like a sticker that goes on with this side of the snap, and then one here. So it keeps it together, but it also has a place for a pen loop. And this is a chunky pen. It's a Pilot. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, the glare. Dr. Grip 4+1 Pilot. So we've got 4 colors plus a pencil. So that goes in here, and it's a really nice way to keep up with that. So I have taken a piece of scrapbooking paper and just cut it to size and put it inside. So I'm not a huge fan of the forest green color. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. So I've just kind of covered that up with this. So, and I have this Wonderland 222 sticker, which is kind of a funny side story. I'd ordered something from them back in November, got lost in the mail. But they never admitted that to me. They just kept saying it was in transit. And yesterday or the day before, I got a package from the post office. They had found it, repackaged it, and sent it to me. And now today I've just gotten a notification that it's arriving. So they must have realized that it was missing in the mail and just sent me another one. So I'm kind of cracking up about that a little bit. And after all that, what I ordered doesn't fit what I need it to fit. So I could have 2 that don't quite fit. That's okay. Maybe someday I will order something from Wonderland 222. I do like their products. All right, well, let's get into this. This is my everyday carry. So this goes in my purse with me everywhere. I have these lovely little rulers. They're Jabun Techo, and they've got little stencils and things you can use here, but mostly I just use it for the ruler on the side. I wish they would have one in inches, but I guess as being Japanese, they don't really care about inches. Okay, here's my front page. Here's my word for the year, consistency. These are the little freebies you get when you order anything from Sterling Ink, and this is like the washi stickers, and it's like, they're so thin. I'm not big on stickers, just mostly because they bulk up my planner, and this being so small, there's not really room for stickers. But I like these washi stickers and how thin they are. So if I do decide to order some, it will probably be from Sterling Ink because they really are nice as far as not being bulky. I haven't figured out a use for this yearly view here. And I've got something on the back side, which makes it really hard to read. It's ghosting, but it's not bleeding through. But anyway, I may, if that gets annoying, I may just print something to go on here if I really need that yearly view, but it's not a big deal for me. Okay, keeping a blood pressure log here. I do have a graph version in the back of my Hobonichi Weeks because I really don't have any extra pages in here, but that's going there, so I'll remember to do it. Goal page, I've kind of started that a little bit. Haven't really figured out. I haven't spent a lot of time with this, and I need to. But that's what that is. Okay, this yearly spread, I love this. I saw somebody, I was trying to figure out what to do with this because it's so tiny, this little space for a day. There's 8 little squares, and the only thing I could think of was 8 cups of water. But I was tracking that in my meal and fitness planner, so I was like, that I don't need to do that twice. But I saw somebody doing this where they kept track of the temperatures by color per year. So I do keep track of the weather in a different in this planner, but I was like, I don't really use anything to show the color of the temperature. So you can see our weather here is in, between the 20s and 40s. So I'm excited to see how the color is going to go across the whole year. My husband's so funny. He looks at this and he's like, that stresses me out. How can you do that? I don't know. It's fun for me. All right, quarterly section. We've got different trackers. I've got health trackers here and here. Some of them work a little better in this calendar view, and some work better, or at least will work in this kind of a view. So I've got them spread out through there because I'm used to using this view like in my Hobonichi Cousin, but I had room for 10, and here I've got room for 2, for 6. I only have room for 6. So if I could choose how this was laid out, I would have just given each day twice as much space. That's how my needs work, but that's okay. This works as well. And I figured out that after I'd drawn this in, that was too small, so I expanded it a little bit. So that's what the rest of them will look like. All right, I think that's all the tracker kind of stuff. Yes, after that's done, we get into our months. So there's December's, which I used in here, and then we have this month, January. So I did actually put a sticker in there. I was using stickers in a different book, and I had that one left over in a page. I was like, let's just stick it in here. So I've got my schedule here for my monthly view. I use this as a calendar, and that's the best use of it for me. It is very small, but I've learned to use very fine tip pens and to make my handwriting small, and it's working fine for me. I do have a friend who I got so excited and showed her this, and she's like, I can't even see that. It's small. I mean, look at the size of the pen next to it. It is a small layout. You have six boxes across each one of these, so you have to be tiny, and that's just how it is. But it's working for me because it's small and slim. So I've gotten my monthly stuff. This is like mostly my kids' school calendar and my volunteer schedule and church schedule. Those things are all filled out as far as I kind of know them. And then this is the summer, and there's a few little things I know that are going to come up, appointments and so forth. But that's kind of how it goes. And they give you all the way to January of the next year. And I went ahead and marked in my appointment for next year with the allergist. And I thought, well, let's just make a place here because, yeah, as you go, any of those yearly doctor visits that come up in, March, April, May, August, you're going to want to write it down somewhere so you can transfer it over to the next year's book. All right, so here is my first week in the actual planner. So I figured out I was doing my my weather in my Hobonichi Weeks about this size, which is comfortable, but I didn't like how big and chunky that was. So I took it down. Instead of being 3x3, it's 2x2, and it's working pretty well. So I can see what my temperatures are, what the weather is. I just draw a little icon that I go on the fly, and that's worked really well. I don't really use this side over here unless I'm scribbling notes or something when I'm on the phone making an appointment. So it keeps it kind of clean, and I like writing in my week 1 because I don't know if you can even read it. The week 1, I'm making a terrible shadow, is right there. It's so tiny. So I'm writing it here so it jumps out of the page. Knowing what number the weekend is something that is important in my planning. Okay, so that was last week, and this is this week. So trying to, I put in my appointments, and then I'll go back and kind of backfill. Okay, this is how the day played out, what I did with my time. So that's working pretty well for me. Again, I'm able to write tiny enough. Like the pencil on here is 0.5 millimeters, so it's pretty tiny, and it works pretty well. And I'm guessing these are 0.5 pens. I don't know. It doesn't really say on it, or maybe it did when I ordered it. Okay, so that's kind of how things are going in that section. So now let's go to, and this is just like I have cash rewards to use. So I just have stuck them, I print them off from the computer and just kind of stick them in before they're actually expiring, but close to that. So as I get there, I'm like, oh, go to the store and spend that money before it expires. So you get all your or your weekly layouts clumped together. And so I have those. These are Coffee Monster Co. Tabs, monthly tabs, which are so cute, and they're very durable, and they work really well. This is also one. And I'll just show you real quick. These are as well, but I stuck them onto Post-it notes so I can just relocate it every week to where I'm currently at. So let's go up here to the notes section. This is where I'm at with, we'll go here. Okay, so the biggest thing, the reason this is my daily carry is because it's small and it contains everything I need while I'm on the go or at home, which is my monthly calendar, my weekly vertical calendar, and my to-do list. Those are things I need with me at all times because a lot of my to-dos are errands or at the school, etc. So I was using a running to-do list similar to kind of what I got from a video that Helen from Coffee Monster Co. had shown how she used one. She had a running to-do list in like maybe an A5 notebook that she uses alongside her Hobonichi cousin. And so I was like, ooh, I really kind of like that, where you just write it down. It doesn't matter what day it's for the week, and it can roll over to the next week, etc. I like that idea. So I kind of tweaked it a little bit for my needs. So you can see over here, you've got 7 columns for the different days of the week. And I would just kind of put a box on which day of the week I kind of felt like I needed to do that task on. Check them off. If I didn't do it, I would just do a line through it, move it on to the next, to the next until it got done. It worked really well this week. This was week 50. So that's when I started using this planner, 3 weeks to the end of December. Week 51, I made this list and I hardly did anything. Now, that is very likely because it was Christmas break. But I kind of just, for week 52, I just kind of put more things and I finished it up. But I was like, I don't think this is going to work for me. I wanted it to kind of categorize my tasks a little bit more rather than just writing them in as they came to mind. So I worked on a new layout, but I wanted also to have a monthly habit tracker section. So here's what I did. Here's January, and it is sideways. And so I've got, my 31 days there at the top, and I've got these are mostly things I want to do every day. I do have a few things down here, like changing bedding and laundry, things like that I'm just curious how often it happens during the month. Sometimes it's once a month, sometimes it's every other week, just depending on what the chore is. And then at the bottom, I have this mood tracker, which I have been using for many years in a different type of planner because I would track my mood for the day or the day before when I was having my morning worship. And so I have moved away from that format, and I didn't really have a place for the mood tracker, and I kind of wanted it in these books. So this is where it's living. I think I also have it in my journaling planner. So, but this is just kind of a check-in. I go to this page every day. Did I do what I was supposed to do on the page? Okay, so that's January. There'll be one of those per month. And then here was how I organized it. So I have a section for errands, chores, computer things, school things, church things, calls I need to make, creative things, miscellaneous things, which I finally realized, oh, you forgot like your health and fitness trackers. And that's basically what this is, because those things are mostly every day. So that worked fairly well for that week. Again, this is Christmas break. So it worked fairly well, but I was kind of like, I kind of maybe want 2 pages per week for my to-dos. I felt like I wanted a place to like scribble notes, or I don't know. So when I did the next week, I set it up the same, but I divided this into six sections, because I was like, okay, Saturday is our day of worship. So I don't tend to have to-dos on that day. So I gave myself Monday through Friday and then Sunday. Each one had a section. And I don't know, something about that just didn't look right. And I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more cutesy and more like I've seen other people doing their, like daily journaling or whatever. And so, and here's the thing, as I was going through this week, being frustrated with trying to keep up with this column every day of where am I at and what tasks do I need to do. So over the holidays, I had a big list of like things I wanted to get done, like cleaning out my basement, mending clothes, things that I don't normally take time to during the week because I'm pretty busy with my time. And so I had made that, and I have a sticky note that's about this size, and it was on one of these pages down the way. And I had written down, I had like 8 big things I thought I could get done during the holidays. But then trying to figure out where they were going to fit into my schedule, what I did was, and these are left remnants from that, I wrote them down on these sticky notes, each one of those things. And then I went back to my weekly section and I just kind of plastered it on each day I thought I could get it done. If it didn't get done, it just got moved to the next day, moved to the next day, moved to the next day. So I had a few remnants of those left going into this week. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to write Monday here. I whited out everything else I'd done. And I'm going to write Monday here, and I just piled all the things underneath it. Whatever got done, the sticky note got tossed, and I wrote it down. So what I wrote down is what I actually got done. And if it didn't get done, I just moved the sticky note. So it prevented me, because this is what I like about these kind of running task lists, is if I do a task list for every day, I always give myself way more things than I can do. So I end up writing that thing the next day, the next day, the next day. I could write it all week and maybe into the next week. And that makes transferring that task list over take so much time, which is what I liked about this. It's there one time and I just keep track of it. But for some reason, this isn't resonating well with my brain, because it's like, okay, I've got this one, I don't know. So I'm thinking going forward, I'm going to keep working with this. I probably won't do this. Hold the phone. And I will just, in fact, I've set it up so you can see for next week. So I've got this column here. So everything that I think I can get done, I'm going to put underneath Monday. And when I get it done, I'll write it down. Now, this is a recurring fitness things where I take a picture and do measurements. That I can move. I do that once a week. So that I can move over here to await next week. But so I don't have to throw them away every time. But some of them are like, that's going to be something that's a one-time deal. So I will use a sticky note system to write things down, put it in, move it down along the line, and see how well that works for me. But it's worked really well this week. And what I love is that I love how this looks. This looks very organized, very put together. This looks great too. Don't get me wrong. I like how this looks so much better than how that looks. But that still, to me, I still like it because it's productive. But anyway, this is how this looks. So what felt like I was missing between here and here was this section here where it was like stuff I did every day. So I was like, well, I'll just do like a small habit tracker. So I've got this habit tracker here that's got, and it's mostly health related things. And some of the things I'm like, I'm tracking that in my meal and fitness planner. I'm just going to give myself a check mark that I worked in the weeks today. And then I don't have to check it off twice. It'll remind me, go to your weeks, do the things that are in your weeks. So those are things there. We'll see if this expands or goes away as time goes on. But I'm excited about this. I think this is going to work well for me. So it will keep me only at 1 page per day per week, we'll see. I didn't quite have enough to finish the book with 2 a week. And so I actually stole some pages from my Hobonichi Weeks and just stuck them in there thinking if I need to tip some in, they're there and they're free. But if I only do 1 a week, then I'll have plenty. But you know how it is. You go on vacation. You're not doing tasks on vacation. So some of those aren't going to use 1 at all. So, you know, it probably would have all worked out in the end. But that's kind of where I'm at in this section. So this is just, you know, at the back, there's just this blank section. And you can say I went through and like put a sticky note down for every week of the year to make sure that I had enough pages. And then these are just extras that I will use should I do 2 pages a day. And I would have to realign all those. So we will see how this goes moving forward. But I'm kind of excited about, not kind of excited. I really like this. I love how small this is. All right, let's see. Is there anything else in the back that I'm using this for? Oh, see, these are these nice little sticky notes. They are longer in real life, but I just trim off the bottom so they fit in here perfectly. It's a great place to write down a list of things. I tend to stick, you know, 5 or 6 pages of different Post-its in different places in here so that I can reference them or use them easily if I want to write notes or whatever. So, place to put down clothing needs, keeping track of when we buy dog food, because sometimes I feel like I'm buying it all the time and like, are we losing it, wasting it, what's going on? Some lessons that I'm doing. So yeah, that's how I am using this, and hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, this is a very unique planner, and I've only found 1 or 2 other people that consistently or even sometimes post a video on how they're using this. So I hope that this is helpful to you to see how this can be used, because being so small, it is very lightweight and easy to carry around. And I mean, I'm the girl that used to carry the giant Happy Planner 18-month with metal rings everywhere, and I would have to take a huge purse and it would weigh 10 pounds, and I'm over that. I'm ready to be smaller. So I keep this in my weeks with me all the time, and it's working so far. So we'll check back in another day. Thanks for watching.